Hi, I'm Jim Polanco, and welcome to my shop. I'm a proud member of the Chisholm Trail Woodworkers, and I welcome you all here. Okay, obviously I am space challenged, and see, when I first bought this saw, this is my table saw. When I first bought it, it had this cheap, ugly fiberboard table that had a bow in it. I still have it. I'm gonna cut it up and use it for something else. But so I wanted a workbench, but of course having room for it is another story. So I swapped it out, put a vise, and now this is my workbench. And of course the table saw. And this is something I'm real proud of. This is, I found this on sale, this cast iron wing for my table saw that fit perfectly. And it had the opening for a router table. And it worked beautifully, and it still works beautifully. And what happened, my wife saw how much I like this, so one Christmas, she bought me the Incra router lift, and it presented me with a challenge, because the handle on this side of the table saw that moves, that tilts the blade, was in the way. The router lift couldn't sit properly. So I removed the handle and then built this box around it and mounted the handle here and attached it with threaded rod to the arbor. So now I can tilt my saw from here like normal.
All the way through the router.
Right, and of course this is now the switch for the router and dust collection. So when I use the router, I have a router fence that I attach to here, and we'll probably see that later. Okay. So this is like my main workstation. This here, I love this thing. This is a joiner. This joiner was given to me by Rick, the carpenter, a member of our club. He had taken it apart and was going to put one of those spiral heads in it, and for some reason couldn't get it to work. So he bought a new one, and he wanted to get rid of this. So he offered it to the club. I came and got it. I put it all back together. It had some missing parts and whatever, and I found a site where you can buy replacement parts for just about anything. And so now it's all original equipment. It's all been refurbished, and it works perfectly, beautifully, and I really like it. Now,
did you end up putting the spiral head on there?
No, I put the original head back in.
Okay.
And I know people have trouble setting up their joiners. I will never have that trouble with this joiner, because I used the dial indicator, and when I remounted the drum head, I made sure it was perfectly true to the outfeed table. Okay. So that means when I put the blades in, I don't have to jiggle with them. As long as the blade and the bottom of the blade and the edge of the blade are parallel, they just seat, tighten, done. Nice. This is my small tool dust collection. Okay. Of course, this drill press. I belong to another club, and this was the grand prize one year, and I won it. And it's top of the line jet. It's beautiful. I love it. And of course, it's on wheels like everything. Somebody had offered one of the clubs his shop. He was selling his entire shop, and I ran and got, when I saw this with the extension, this is a beauty, and I really like it. Of course, over here is my dust collector, and I haven't used this chop saw very much, and I want to set up a chop saw station, and we'll get to the table where it's going to land over there eventually. Okay. But of course, this is my chip separator, my planer, and here another. This is my lathe station. You know, I've upgraded a couple of times from the original lathe that was given to me by someone who was just throwing it away. And of course, I've set up my grinding station with a CBN wheel. I've really learned a lot over the years. And this is my hand tool plane collection, which I'm very proud of. I have one of each.
Yeah.
Right? I have a Stanley number 1. A 1, a 2, 2 3s, 3 4s, 4 1/2, 5 1/4, 5 1/4, 5 1/4, 5, 6. Oh no, this is 5 and a 5 1/2, and then a 6, 7, and an 8.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
And then, also, anybody who uses planes has to have at least one Lee Nielsen. So I have the low angle jack plane.
Okay.
Because to get a low angle jack plane, I wanted one with a superior blade
Yeah.
to do that heavy sort of removing of this. All my spoke shaves, shoulder plane, router plane.
And then these down here just didn't make the shelf.
No, it's this one was on sale recently, and so I picked it up for very cheap, and it's been thermonized,
Okay.
and I just haven't found a spot for it yet. And this one is gonna get refurbished and probably give it away to someone. This is a number 4. I have plenty of 4s. I don't need another one, but when I bring this up to its natural beauty and functionality, I will give it to someone. And I know there's a guy in our club that uses hand tools only, and he's a beginner. And I spoke to him about, I have extra chisels and junk and planes. Would he like some of it? And he said yes. So he's going to get a couple of things from me. Not to mention a plane. But you see that up there?
Miter box.
The miter box? Yes. He's going to get that.
All right.
This cabinet was originally in here. And I needed more space because it's holding a bunch of stuff, like all my electrical crap and the all the spray paints and stuff like that. But my woodworking, all my finishes are in here, and what have you. And then I built this cabinet to store some other stuff that I just didn't have space for anywhere else. And all my messes haven't been completely done. But see, I used to have milk boxes, crates like this with wood in them from cutoffs that I got from John Loftus. And he gave me so much of that wood when I guess he was clearing out his shop for a lot of cutoffs or whatever. This is what I have left. I had it built that special just to hold all the John Loftus stuff. And this is what I have left. And I've used tons of it to make, I don't know, I think I've made 20 cutting boards, giving it away to friends and family and everything, and I still have that. And this is my lumber rack. It's above, it's unused space above my garage door.
Right.
And we passed it, but see that cabinet over there? This cabinet is where all my jigs and fixtures and some wood storage go, and some tool storage. The jigs and fixtures, and of course, everywhere I can find a spot, there's spare wood. If you look around, there's plenty of. This is a mess I haven't tackled yet. And this is where fasteners and hand tools, all my wrenches, all my fasteners, and my Craig jig is here, and a bunch of other little sundries. And this is just wood that is eventually going to find its way over here to make my own boards when it's sufficiently dry. I built this table to put the chop saw there,
Okay.
but I had a cabinet in a room that I needed to clear out. So that cabinet was literally on top of here for the longest time, and I've just removed it and brought it up. My son moved out, so now that cabinet is back where it was. So now I have the space open. And right now, this is a project. Somebody from our club. This is a beautiful scroll saw, but there's a problem with this head. It won't maintain pressure, so it won't hold. So I am looking for a replacement head for this,
Okay.
an aftermarket one, so that once you can.
Yeah.
mount the blade in there because everything else works perfectly. And this I picked up at a sale, and I'm going to replace the sanding wheel on it on the bottom there because that one has a little wobble in it. So I'm going to replace that, fix it up, and it'll replace the one that I use normally, which is down there. Right?
So
and
where is your miter saw station going to end up?
right here.
Right?
It's gonna wind up here, and it's gonna be. And I saw this from Jerry Stringer, right? He has a miter saw set up on a tray, so and it's like up against the wall, but he can move it out. See, so I'm gonna have the miter saw here. I can make small cuts right here, but I can be able to pull it out and then have all of this space, all this space for longer cuts. My favorite is this guy right here.
This guy, right?
My router. My router table.
Gotcha.
Because you can make cool things, but you can dress them up really nicely with a few well-placed profiles. It's and then just to make your own, say, picture frame profiles and stuff like that, and just do different things. Like I bought a drill bit to make rosettes. You know what they are?
Yeah.
Okay, to make rosettes to put on corners of something that I did. A friend of mine, his family moved here from Honduras.
Okay.
And this was like 50 years ago. They moved here from Honduras. And when I say here, the United States, they live in California. Now, when the family moved from Honduras, the grandfather had carved these beautiful images. One was culturally specific, and the other one was faces, right? Like we have on our dollar bill, right? The oval with a face in it of historical figures of Honduras, and in the center was the crest for the country of Honduras. So that was the door of their house, and that was the inside face for the inside of the house. When they left Honduras, they brought the door. And it sat in a garage in California for 50 years. So the son, when he moved here, right, he brought the door with him. So I did a job for him, or rather, he did a job for me. He put in my mini split air conditioner, right?
Right.
And he mounted that, and I said, what can I do for you? He says, I got just the thing. So he brings me this door. And it's Honduran mahogany, and it's big, it's beautiful, and it has these two things. And he says, what can you do with this? I said, I got you. And I'll give you the pictures since I'm telling the story. What I did was I took the door all apart, and then I used the wood frame of the door, all those pieces. I milled them down and made a frame because the two panels were 5/8 inch thick.
Okay.
So I made a picture frame with a 5/8 inch groove in it and mounted it all together. And in the corners,
You did the
I put the I made rosette plaques to accent the corners. Came out really, really nice. And of course, the finish on it had like corroded. It looked horrible. When I stripped it, removed it down to the bare wood, oh my God. The detail in the carving jumped out even more. He said, I never saw this, never saw that, because there was like a forest scene, there was an Indian, there was a family around a fire, there was a bunch of stuff. It was a very cool carving. I'm going to send you pictures of it.
And it just took getting it down back to the wood.
Yes, took it down to the wood, and then I just made the frame and then put polyurethane on it, and it came out really nice. Anyway,
that sounds like a really memorable project.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So, different things I've done to improve things, like I built those drawers. I made this bench, I built those drawers, and then I did a project in my master bathroom. There was over the toilet's like in an alcove, and above it was this cabinet. Didn't like the cabinet, but my wife couldn't reach it. Right. She's 5'2". She couldn't reach the cabinet. So it was like, it was useless for her,
Yeah.
right? See, so she said, I want that down. I said, okay. I took it down. Nasty. It was covering a nasty hole in the wall.
Right.
So instead of repairing the wall, I built shelving
Okay.
above it. And of course, and painted it the same color because I had to paint the closet. So she wanted it. I painted it nice gray. So I made it the same color as the closet and it came out beautiful. And then I took that and it just so happened that that cabinet was almost the exact height under here. Because see, I built this specifically at this level so that when the lathe is on it, this is supposed to be like elbow high, right?
Right.
For you. So that's why this is this low. And it just happened, I got lucky. I had to shave a little bit off the top and put it in there. And now, so nobody's ever going to turn down storage space. Especially storage space that has doors on it so the dust don't get in there.
Yeah.
See that? That's called Drill Doctor.
Drill Doctor.
It's supposed to help you sharpen drill bits.
Okay.
The process, it'll do it. Oh, it'll do it, and it'll do a fine job, except you have to set it up so perfectly
Right.
and then do it correctly. There's a technique to it. And the learning curve on that, I'll buy a new bit.
I'll just
Buy
go
a new
some
bit.
bits.
Or just follow, there's a guy named The Woodman
Yeah.
on online, right? He's got a channel. He shows you how to make a little jig where you just go weep, weep, and
Yeah.
you get a perfect 58 degree.
Just using your
Just
grinder.
using a block of wood and your grinder. So,
Okay.
so yeah, the Drill Doctor was not
So
good.
you-
The router's my favorite because it makes things pretty.
yeah.
This is the workhorse, this one, and the close second is the bandsaw because, you're making cuts, right? And we're going to use it in the next video. We're going to use both of these. We're going to use a bunch of this stuff. Well, Kevin Pilgrim approached me at the other club's meeting.
Okay.
He was a member there, but it was like almost an hour and a half, 2-hour drive for him. And it was like, there's got to be something closer. And the only thing closer to us here in Fort Worth and people south of Fort Worth is a turning club,
Right.
right? And all right, great club. I went there to a few of their meetings and whatever. But, it's like, all right, this is one phase, right?
Yeah.
They talk about, bowls, urns, this, tool making, this, that, and the other. Everything turning.
Right.
And we're never going to discuss making a box, having trouble with cabinets, having an issue with a CNC,
Right.
all those really cool things that we talk about in our club, and we discuss, share information. And this is another thing I find fascinating about woodworking is that woodworkers give it up.
Oh, yeah.
There are no trade secrets. They're not protecting any trade secrets. We gladly help you do it easier, cheaper, and more efficiently.
Right.
We're glad to help. It's one of those things. You share the joy, and we all do it, and be happy because if I can do something a certain way, why would I deny you that knowledge? It's just one of the things woodworkers do that always fascinated me because there are electricians that protect some of their trade secrets. There are plumbers that protect their trade secrets. There's AC guys who protect.
Right.
You think of any of the trades, they all protect some of their own trade secrets.
Right.
Woodworkers, not a single one.
Right. If
You
I
know?
can do it this way, I'm going to let somebody know
Yes,
how I did it.
exactly. And the tips and tricks is my favorite part of any magazine.
Yeah.
And or the guys who do have woodworking channels like Stumpy
Yeah.
Nubs and Paul Sellers and Rob Kossman. Their tips and tricks videos are the ones that get the most hits.
Right.
Because they're the most useful and they make things fun. And you go, ah. And there's one guy, I forget, he cracks me up and I forget his name. But he goes, are you telling me this is the way you do that? I don't believe it. And then he goes and he does it. He goes, I've been doing this wrong for 30 years. He says that about every single one of his tips. It's hysterical. Anyway, but
Sure.
go to Harbor Freight, get the cheapest drill driver you can find, and learn how to use it. Learn the features of it. Learn what's good, bad, and ugly about it. And then you have knowledge to go buy one that you're going to like. I'm a fan of Rigid because they have a lifetime warranty. If it ever breaks, you send it back to them and they give you a new one. In fact, I have one that is so old they don't make it anymore.
Right.
And if it dies, they're going to replace it with a brand new, like, top of the line model, because mine does things most don't.
Yeah. So that's for drilling and driving and.
Well, it's for drive. It's screwdriver. It's a driver. You know, I also have a nut driver. You know, or one. What's that? It's not a hammer drill. It's a drill driver. This is just see.
Like an impact driver.
Yeah. See, this is my standard screw driver, and it does that. They don't do that anymore. You got to buy one separately.
All right, that's one tool.
And it's got to break. All right. So you gotta be able
to put things together.
Right. Now the other one is you need a good saw.
Okay.
Now whether you use a chop saw or a table saw or even a circular saw, right?
Right.
There are ways to use it safely and to do stuff. And the biggest advice I can give you about your saw is always start small, start cheap, because you're always going to want to upgrade. Because see, when I first got into woodworking, you know, I was in New Jersey. I was a volunteer fireman, and we always had stuff we needed to like fix and make. And whenever we needed to make a long cut in a sheet of plywood, someone would go, all right, we need someone with a table saw. And somebody would go, oh, okay. And the last guy we went to, he had this 10-inch thing that would fit right here. And we put it on a table, set up the fence, and we made like 20 shelves with it.
Okay.
Right? That were 8 foot long, right? And that's what we needed. And then we took that wood and we did something else with it. But that was such a pain in the butt that I said, you know what? I want one of those, but I don't want that one. And that was like a mental note. And one day I'm going to the post office, and this guy's putting stuff out. He's having a garage sale. And right in front, there's this Ryobi contractor saw on the table. And I walked up to him and I go, is this part of the sale? He goes, yep. I said, okay, how much? He goes, $75. I said, sold. I'll be back in 5 minutes. The bank's 2 blocks away. I'll go get some cash. I'll be right back. I come back. It's like 15 minutes later. There's 5 guys standing around it, and they're all bidding on it. And he's like, he was an ex-Marine. He's like, I'm sorry. I gave my word to someone. In fact, there he is now. That guy's offering me $200 for it. I said, no, I bought it. He goes, how much did you pay for it? I said, that, sir, is none of your business. And then me and him went inside. I gave him it, and then he hands me a box with the books and all this other stuff. And it's all these plastic parts and all this other. Oh, I didn't know. So I take the box, I go out to my car, put it in. We had to take it off the stand because I had some bullshit little, I had a Toyota Sonata, which little 4-door coupe. I couldn't fit it in there. So we wound up fitting this thing, had to take it apart, fit it in my car so I could drive away and get away from these guys. They were getting heated. Anyway, I get it back. I go through the book, and it turns out this table saw had a router table thing in its wing.
Okay.
It had a sliding table with a miter bar on it. And I'm like, wow. And then all the parts he gave me were the connections and stuff for the router table, the dust collection for the router table, the extra stuff like the hold downs
Yeah.
for the miter bar on the sliding table on the side. It was an awesome saw.
Yeah.
So then I look it up online. It's a top of the line Ryobi. It was a B2000 or something, I think it was. And I'm like, wow, I did so many wonderful things with that, because I went right out and bought a router. But I didn't start woodworking until I did some research. And back then, we're talking 20 years ago, right? So back then, there wasn't like YouTube, but what there was, the same guys that do the what is it, the Woodcraft magazine?
Yeah.
They're in Iowa somewhere,
Okay.
right? They give classes in their store. They have this big room, and they gave classes, and they filmed them and put them online as a broadcast. You can find them. I think you have to search them in Apple View or whatever, and look for a podcast, and you have to online woodworking or whatever. There's 44 episodes.
Okay.
They go over everything. Hand planes, making a pen on the lathe, using a table saw, using a bandsaw, everything. And they explain everything. Plus, there's like 40 guys in this classroom watching one of their guys give the presentation, and then they ask questions. And they don't go until all the questions are answered. So some of these are quite long, but they're a complete education in beginning woodworking. It was exceptional information.
And you were able to consume.
And I absorbed all of that. Then I got a DVD. You ever go searching, through the DVD store and whatever, right? And you go, wow, safety on a table saw.
Yeah.
Oh, brought it home. This guy, wonderful guy, learned all about a table saw. So I used the hell out of my table saw, and I brought it here, right? And then this one was up for sale by one of the members.
Okay.
I said, yeah, I want to upgrade. So everything I did started with that one purchase of that table saw.
Right.
And then I started making boxes, jewelry boxes, picture frames, all kinds of really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Impressed the hell out of people. But impressed me because it was so much fun for a number of reasons. First, I had to figure out how to do it with the tools I had.
Yeah.
Then I had to actually get it done, go through all the steps, mess it up, redo it, whatever. Because it takes when you're first starting, it takes a number of tries for you to get something that you're willing to not only show somebody else, but actually give them. And they'll like it, right? So, but I started turning out this stuff, and I found the hobby itself, everything about it, rewarding, because it's not like an all-in-one thing. It's not like I have to finish this. No, I get to a certain point, put it away, have my life. When I have time, I come back right to where I am and whatever. And then you have that satisfaction at the end because you've produced something at a certain level of quality. And every time you do it, the quality, you make great strides in the beginning in the improvement of your quality, but then there's a point at which you start to get good at this. But then the quality then goes up in smaller increments, but they're just as rewarding as the big ones you remember. So that's the coolest thing. Nice. So that's why when you find out information and someone shares information on how to do something easier, and it becomes your way of doing it then, and you'll share it and with everybody. But it's like everything you can do to help me get those incremental improvements in quality, because each one of those that I achieve feels the same as when I finished my first picture frame and was like, whoa. See, it's funny. I have a little plaque that my dad gave me a long time ago. It's a quote from Theodore Roosevelt. Do what you can where you are with what you have.